Hello, everyone. This is Daryl, Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. Well, we went to a quality meeting at that. We discovered that ANSI, due to the fact that Joe Bhathia will be retiring December 2024, he has yet to respond with his flunky lawyer, Jameson Carroll, concerning a disgusting display of ANSI's unprofessionalism. And they set the stage for this title because there are acronyms within this title that only they know about, because you have a guy, Russ Chaney, who in 2019 called me up on the phone and said, yes, have a nut, fuck you. You'll find all the videos down below. It is absolutely deplorable. A professional who lowers himself to Scumbag of the Year. Yes, I think we're going to give him the award, Scumbag of the Year. But you know something? Yes, he called me up and said, half a nut, fuck you. The reason why is because we exposed an impropriety with A2LA. A2LA is an accreditation body for laboratory. They sit on ANSI's board. I put a video together. One of their employees wrote beneath it, says, no, ANSI and ANAB, ANSI and A2LA are two separate entities. As you can see, they're not. And at the time, they were being watched over by Communist China because the IF International Accreditation Form had been given to the Chinese Communist national Zhao Jinwu in 2015 to 2021. And this is the same guy who certified the suspect lab. Well, actually, probably the lab that really let the virus go, since everything points in that direction. They certified it with a laboratory accreditation while he was the chairman of the IAF Incorporated in Delaware, and he was also the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services. This is ANSI. ANSI is a private, not-for-profit, non-governmental entity, and it's a corporation. It has both federal agencies and corporations on board. Getting back to A2LA and laboratory, we found this in about 2018, 2017, while Zhao Jinwu was in the lab in Wuhan, China. This woman here, Pamela Sale, is the vice president of accreditation for laboratory. Okay, and she said that from one laboratory to another, there are no protocols. That means they're issuing a certificate which is fraudulent. It is. So what happened is, when I exposed A2LA, here is Russ Chaney. Okay, he called me up and he said, half a nut, fuck you. You can see it underneath his name. There it is, half a nut, fuck you. I'm not going to play the audio file, but how I found out that it was him? Well, this was a little banner. I took a snapshot of my phone that evening and I called it back, and it was Russ Chaney's phone number. Okay? I then wrote Joe Bhathia. A note concerning this. He sent it off to their attorney, Jameson Carroll. Let's bring Jameson Carroll. And by the way, I think, and I hate to bring family members in, but I think you ought to let your sons listen to Russ Chaney's tape, Mr. Bhathia, and also your wife, Pinta. I think you ought to let her listen to it too. Why don't you call her up and say that to her? Half a nut, fuck you, to her. And your children as well. Because you would prove this, because this is what dear old Jameson Carroll said. I'll hold it here. So I'm going to finish this off because I don't want to stretch this. I went down. I applied for director at large at ANSI. They had it in June of 2022. I applied for it. I thought that I could do something and make a change there. A change to their protocols, which should be made without a doubt. And I sent them a 54-page document with 16 letters of recommendation. Guess who was the nominating chairman? No other. Where the heck is he? The nominating chairman for the board for 2023 was no other than Russ Chaney, the guy who said, half a nut, fuck you. Now, that is probably a standard for ANSI. Probably a subliminal thing, half a nut, fuck you, because everybody that sits on ANSI's board, Lockheed, Boeing, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, skip quality processes and standards. Pfizer, skip quality processes and standards, manufacturing a COVID shot that you stuck in your arm. You have Johnson & Johnson, who had 75 million vials of COVID returned because of contamination, quality issues. You have Lockheed Martin, all of them sit on ANSI's board. After their 801st ship, their first ship, 801, is still produced with discrepancies up to including loss of aircraft, loss of pilot. And then you have Boeing. Wow, Boeing is really bad. They all sit on their board. So what they do is Boeing fudge documentation. In fact, most recently from 2007 to 2018, Boeing got caught on the V-22 Osprey program not taking down proper temperatures and autoclave pressures for that aircraft. And right after that came out, 3 weeks prior to that, an aircraft went down. So there's their quality standard. Half a nut, fuck you. So this video is about, here it is. ANSI-ANAB finally admits to how they get government and corporations money. Why not? They've got the DHS sitting on there, $262,000 tax-free. They've got NIST, which is part of the Department of Commerce, National Institute of Standards and Technology. Gordon Guberman, he sits there, $120,000. So ANSI-ANAB finally admits to how they get government and corporations money. And this is the mantra because of Russ Chaney saying, have a nut, fuck you. We fuck the federal government and suck corporate cock. That's what it is. I'm going to leave it here. We fuck the federal government and suck corporate cock. No wonder why Boeing and Lockheed is on board, for God's sake. Now we know why, but it started with him in 2019. This is what we heard at a quality meeting. Some of these guys were saying, Daryl, you're unbelievable exposing this mess. ANSI is fucked up. Well, they are. Right after Russ Chaney, the chairman, who's the guy who models throughout this. Any board member, if he said have a nut, fuck you, it's like they said it to me personally. Joe Bhathia again, and Jameson Carroll, please go home and call your family up. Leave them that type of voicemail. Because you know something? We're still waiting for an apology. But Joe, we know your incompetency after making $30 million or more over your 20-year term is absolutely abominable. We can tell you're not doing well because your eyes are bloodshot. You must be under a lot of stress and strain. I hope you are. Because you know something? You disgust me. You are incapable of being a leader. Jameson Carroll, sit down. Sit down. And by the way, and Russ Chaney, dear God help us. Russ, you ought to go call your wife and say half a nut fuck you to her. Yes, we're still harping on that because you know something? Real integrity comes from saying, I am sorry. It was a slip of the mind. I would have never published any of this stuff. And look at how stupid they are. They could have got me on their board of directors, director at large, and I would have been squashed. I would have even done videos praising how great they are. But now they have to suffer the slings and arrows. And by the way, the American Bar Association is in bed with them. Also, the Department of Justice, the FBI, they're in bed. And you know something? They got hacked, their information taken from China because they sit on there. On ANSI and ANSI at the time ANSI-ANAB between the time of 2015 and 21, they sat on the IAF being controlled and manipulated by communist China. So this organization has failed in standard writing operations. They have failed in voluntary consensus. They have failed all the way around. And if you are ANAB accredited, shame on you. But Daryl, we have to do it. We have to take the road of least resistance. Close your door now. And by the way, when you close it, we will send you, at our expense, this flag so you can hang it up in your door. If you're ANAB accredited, right there. This is a half a nut. Fuck you.